So, do you have this superpower? Shango Ray here. And I was just sitting here kind of meditating. Sometimes I come out to the car to do chanting because sometimes I like to do it with a lot of volume, you know what I'm saying? But I started thinking about this particular small subject. And, there's a lot of talk now, especially in the conscious community. I mean, there's always been, but now more than ever, the attention towards like shadow work, dealing with your shadow. A lot of the more infamous lecturers have been really leaning on it because it is like one of the most important things that you can do to liberate yourself, not just in getting a particular result that you want. But I ask you again, do you have this superpower? And I've thought of this superpower in relation to shadow work because I feel like the superpower is vitally important. It's imperative, like it's inseparable. You can't do shadow work without this power. This superpower that I'm talking about, a side effect of this superpower, will allow you to infect your will into your reality with precision. Another effect of this superpower is you will start to see the truth. And I use that word loosely, but you will start to see very clearly into all the different situations in your life. Another effect of this superpower is just this overall peace. And yes, even a love too. And this superpower will have you feeling comfortable in your skin, which will make you magnetic. And it's like when you are congruent inside, when your actions match what's going on inside. That's what I mean by congruent. When you are living how you feel you should be living, I guess you can say. And it's actually what you feel. It's not most of the shit that we feel is given to us, programmed into us as you should want this or there's something wrong with you. I'm talking about what it is that you really want. And this superpower that I'm speaking about, do you have this superpower? This superpower is an ability. The ability to be honest with yourself. It sounds very simplistic. Most of us are in delusion that we are being honest. And we may be being honest, but just to a certain limit. But we're afraid to go a little bit deeper than that. Because there's always a deeper than that a lot of times, depending on what we're talking about. I'm going to give a very simplistic and brief example of just one way that I noticed that it starts having a cumulative effect. It may start in one particular area, but then you start seeing it transcend, encompass all different areas. Maybe a week or two ago, I got into an argument with my wife. And what's funny is during the argument, and I say funny just more or less as in ironic, just what's funny is there was a moment where I and this has happened to me before, maybe you can relate to this. There was a moment where I was like kind of outside of myself, watching myself, argue. And what I realized, number one, was wow, like doing my own shadow work. Obviously, when you're doing your shadow work, there's layers, and you just got to be patient, man. Just because you're doing shadow work, or you did shadow work, it doesn't make you perfect. There's always more to go, here, for the most part, as far as, certain things are concerned. But as you're unraveling the mysteries of who you are, what makes you tick, and all that good shit, afterwards, I had a moment, to myself, and I was working with a particular goddess, deity, and this information just kind of came through. It was just matter of fact, but maybe there was a layer of emotion still there, or whatever it was that kind of clouds your vision, and it just kind of like, and I seen what I was actually mad or upset about, and it was not in context with what we were arguing about, or with what I was, because to be honest, I kind of started it. You know what I'm saying? Now, admittedly, I'm not the easiest person to live with. I'm almost like one of them goddamn fish that you got to keep in a little bowl that really can't be around a whole lot of people or for extended periods of time. And I don't mind that. I'm not even trying to change that, I can be by myself. I'm my own best friend to some degree, to a large degree, I guess you could say. I definitely don't mind being by myself. I don't need a bunch of people around. I know certain people throughout the years, and they seem to always have to have people around them for whatever reason. And I never understood that. I'd rather be by myself than around people. You know what I'm saying? So, saying all that, within that moment, though, when I seen it, I'm going to take it that, and I interpret it as that's whatever part of me, I guess, that I can assume is the real me. It almost felt like I admitted it to myself, or like my ability to see it, to recognize it. And it's like in seeing it and recognizing it, all that shit just dissipated. And I was able to be honest, with myself. And I think that's a very key superpower. I liken it to a superpower, because so many of us are living a delusion. And when I say a superpower, I'm not talking about just admitting to yourself some negative shit. You might be dumbing yourself down. You might be keeping your own self down out of fear. There's nothing wrong with proclaiming that you are great, that you are this, that you are that. You might be dumbing yourself down. You might be lying to yourself about you're actually this good, but you're trying to keep yourself in a little box or something, But it doesn't really matter the context. Like, for example, in my example, we're talking about an argument, but it doesn't matter what it was, whether it was an argument, whether it was, whatever it was. That part is not important. The part that was most important to me, or that stuck out to me, is because I noticed that a lot of us, and I'm going to just say, actually me, I'm going to just use me. In the years gone by, The delusion of self is a drug. You know, it's a fucking drug. It does act like some sort of defense system. It's like sugar. It has absolutely no nutritional value. It may make you feel better momentarily, you know, but it does keep the problem going. It keeps the issue going anytime that you're not able to be authentic. And when I say authentic, I'm not saying that you have to go take a sign or put one of them video signs on your car and drive around and tell everybody your deepest, darkest shit. But what I'm telling you is, whether it's your deepest, darkest shit, or even if it's just your deepest, darkest shit in that moment and in that context of whatever the situation is, to be able to spot, to be able to, like a rocket with a heat-seeking signature on it, and to be able to like cut the shenanigans down, I can't tell you how much time is going to save you. B, how much energy and emotion and how many toxic chemicals that you produce when you get into a state of, you know, anger, fear, or whatever. And when you stay in those fight or flight states, you are a pharmacy. You are a pharmakia. You know what I'm saying? You are any drug you take. It's not the drug that you get hooked to. It's the effect of your body's response to that drug that you get hooked to. And yes, other things may happen. Certain receptors in your brain may develop because it's a foreign entity or whatever. But we're getting beside the point. I'm getting beside the point. My point is, and you know, from all the way to the most shallow surface level to the deepest, most meaningful meaning that it can mean to you, if you can start to train yourself to sniff out your truth in this moment, as far as what the fuck may be going on, whether it's you're mad, whether it's you're afraid, whether it's it doesn't matter what it's for. If you're procrastinating on something, okay, what would I have to truly believe in order for me to be procrastinating? Obviously, there's some fear behind it. There's either fear that it's going to flop, or there's fear that what if it actually goes through? What am I going to do then? What if I succeed and then I drop the ball after that or whatever? I'm just saying, like, you know, to be able to identify and to admit to yourself, this is actually what I'm feeling. This is why. And know it for a fact is a fucking superpower. And you would be surprised how many people they're not conditioned to do so. How many couples fight over the sock on the ground or the dish in the sink when it's not even about that? And for whatever the reason is, even if you can't talk to the other person or another person with whom the situation conspired with, you being able to identify for yourself, to yourself, what exactly is going on is a superpower. It will enhance your magic, your peace of mind, your life, you know, because you start to move. It allows you to move in your truth. What's done in the dark is going to be exposed in the light. I take that also as in the light of your actions with who you're demonstrating yourself to be. You know what I'm saying? Just a little thought from the mind of Papa Shangito. Okay? 2 fingers up, split in the middle.